Welcome to the BETMOORSPORTS Podcast. I'm your host, Avery Fuller, with my co-host, Stephen Troutman Bay, a.k.a.
The Guru.
And we back at it again with another podcast for your viewing specialties. Check us out at www.betmoorsports.com for all your sports bet handicapping needs. It's MLB time, so you better believe the picks are in, and they are winners, winners, winners. Guru, what's going on with you, brother?
Hey, man, not a whole lot, man, but a whole lot at the same time.
Hey, whole lot of a little bit. Ain't nothing wrong with it. It's been a ton happening, man, and you know, some sports ended, but some sports just ended that was the highlight of, or a big portion of the highlights of the sports season. March Madness. March Madness ended with some unexpected winners. What you think about it? Start with the men. The men was really unexpected because you had no number 1 seeds.
Right.
You had 2 number 5 seeds, number 9 and what was it, number 7?
Number 4.
Number 4. Okay. And the champions are the UConn Huskies. What's your thoughts on that? And you think they deserve it?
They definitely deserve it, and shout out to UConn, man. I'm not too surprised, actually, with UConn winning the championship. If you remember, UConn was a top team early on in the season. Then they hit a little mid-season slump, and they kind of fell out the top rankings, right? But all in all, they've been a solid basketball team, you know what I mean? And they had an impressive tournament run. Like, they ain't played no games that was within double digits.
Yeah, that's
blew
crazy.
out everybody they saw. Everybody, they covered every spread, and I won money with them every time they took the court, including the championship.
Yeah, it was definitely impressive. I was pretty impressed with San Diego State too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was a little disappointed with Florida Atlantic. I think their coach kind of blew that game against San Diego State. Not only did they come back from down 14 in the second half, but you call a timeout up by 1 to draw a play up like you've been coaching for 30 some odd against almost 40 games into the season. If you ain't got a play down the stretch, because I'm not a fan of calling a timeout to re-inbound the ball again,
right,
because so much can happen on the inbound.
Right.
You know what I mean? Then you called your last timeout, so you get a 5-second on the inbound. You can throw the ball out of bounds. You can turn the ball over. You can do a lot on the inbound when you already got possession and the lead.
Right.
Their back is against the wall, not yours. So you had no business calling a timeout. Basically, you was in panic mode when you shouldn't have been. Then the play you came up with had to be the absolute worst play. It couldn't even have been a play.
Right.
You ain't need a timeout for the man to get the ball and take it to the rim and do a reverse layup and miss.
So, what you feel like you should have did in general?
Let his players play.
Just let the game go.
Because 9 times out of 10, you was going to either get the same results or a foul. Like, nothing different could have happened.
Right. I mean, that makes sense.
You see San Diego State coach ain't calling no timeout down. He say, man, I was out of plays anyway. I didn't. He say, no, he was being sarcastic, but he say, March Madness, that's where you get the madness from, because at that point of the game, it's really out the coach's hand. It's up to you to go make a play now. You got the ball, your season on the line, you know, our season on the line, go make a play, and he made a play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like I said, if San Diego State called the timeout, then you got the pressure of me not defending the inbound pass, me trapping your best player. It's a lot that could go on an out-of-bounds play.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, he came up with the best solution. That was not to call a timeout, and then they went on to the finals.
Well, I know one thing. It was interesting on the male side, but it was even more interesting on the female side. The female side, I believe they may have had the most watched tournament in history.
Yeah.
You know, it was between Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, South Carolina as a whole. You know, it was a ton going on. I was watching that game, and I was watching how it started with the Iowa-South Carolina game. And I was just watching how Caitlin Clark was just taking everybody one-on-one to the cup every time.
It started with Iowa and Louisville when she had the 40-point triple-double.
And that's when she did the
yeah. That's when she started it. Well, she been doing it, but she really got into her zone with that one.
Right. I feel like South Carolina could have did a better job guarding her. Like,
Right.
don't get me wrong, she can hoop, but I throw two people on it and leave it to everybody else.
Right.
You know,
Right.
it's just she scored over half of their points. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that's where the problem lay.
Right. See, what South Carolina ran into a problem is they can't shoot. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And their whole claim to fame this season was to pretty much bully you. And threes add up quicker than twos. And
Yeah.
not only was Caitlin Clark balling, but she, you know, they had a whole bunch of backdoor wide open layups. A whole bunch of easy lanes to the basket because it was too much overemphasizing on Caitlin Clark, but not a quick enough reaction where you had time to kind of rotate.
Right. And I think that's what I saw a lot. A lot of the rotations weren't
Right.
accurate, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
or efficient. And that created a lot of problems because Caitlin was laying that sucker up by herself pretty
Right.
much.
It left a lot of people out of position.
And afterwards, you had LSU take on Virginia Tech, who had outstanding season. You know what I'm
And they
saying?
had an outstanding first half.
Absolutely. And all it takes is that fourth quarter. That fourth quarter changed the game.
Well, actually, the third quarter, the momentum kind of shifted, and LSU started making their shots.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Sometimes it takes them shots to
Right.
make a difference.
And then LSU is big, man. They got a big team, and they physical, and they well coached.
Yeah, because they coach Kim Mulkey.
She came from over there at Baylor and back to her home school to do what she came to do.
She one of those coaches in the GOAT conversation right now.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
At least
definitely.
top 5, top 3. One on.
Women's coach.
Women's, yeah.
Oh, yeah, she top maybe 2 or 3.
So it ended up being the women's national championship. The LSU Tigers against the Iowa. Were they
Hawkeyes.
Tigers too? Oh,
Hawkeyes.
Hawkeyes. Yeah. So, and just watching that game showed a lot of what Iowa was. I hate to say it this way, but it showed the difference between black players and white players. It was a lot of dog on the LSU side.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it kind of just showed the difference between a team that played really good team basketball and a team that was more so of a one-trick pony.
Literally.
You know, Caitlin, she a great player. You know, one of the greatest I probably seen on the college level in a long time. However, she got a tendency to shoot bad shots. You know, and when you're that good on a team like that, nobody is questioning your decision making.
Right.
Right? You can't erase a 17-point lead with one shot. You know, one possession is not going to do it. She started coming down and pulling from half court.
Yeah.
And won't making it. I can see if you was knocking it down consistently that game, but that won't your game.
Right.
You know, she scored decent, but I think she did her team a disservice by continuously to shoot from that range.
After a while, though, Iowa started to come back.
Right.
You know, and then I seen some questionable calls made by the refs.
Well, Iowa was getting every call.
Well, Caitlin Clark's fourth foul was...
That was a bogus call when
You
they
know what I'm
gave her
saying?
the offensive foul.
Right.
Yeah, that was bogus. That was a bad call.
They pretty much gave her, and I forgot the other girl name, but the ref gave them fouls on the same play.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was weird. But nonetheless, you know, it led to a change of game plan. It had to. Even though with 4 fouls, Iowa was still making a push. You had players like Alexis Morris show up, and she was knocking down that mid-range.
Mid-range was unguardable.
Easy. It was easy money, and Angel Reese made her presence felt, of course, as usual on the boards. She gonna get what she gonna get. You know what I'm saying? And it's weird because she get it and she's unstoppable with it. You know what I'm saying? So it was very interesting, to say the least. But it led to one of the more controversial situations of the week, which is Angel Reese walking up to Caitlyn doing the John Cena, "You can't see me," and then pointing at the finger. You know what I'm saying? Share your thoughts on the backlash that she got for what she pretty much did the same thing that Caitlyn Clark did.
Well, if you ask around, a lot of people, especially those of European descent, say that it's not the same thing. Probably because Caitlyn, quote unquote, didn't do it in anybody's face. And if it was a man that walked up to another man taunting and blah, 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 would have been a fight, et cetera, et cetera. I personally see nothing wrong with it. It's basketball. It's a passionate sport. We winning. We just whooped your ass. I got the right to talk my shit if I want to. You know what I mean? I don't have to be a good sport. I don't feel like that's being a bad sport, but I don't have to be a quote unquote good sport.
Right.
At the moment where I just won the national championship.
Right. And to me, it was more about the unheard trash talk, or the trash talk we don't know about, right?
Right.
Because the way it looked to us, like they was just playing a game, and at the end of the game, Angel Reese hit her with a blindside, "You can't see me" type of thing. When Caitlyn Clark was probably talking shit the whole game.
And where she probably wasn't, because they was really getting their ass whooped pretty much most of the game. But if you watch before the game, you know LSU and South Carolina are in the same conference for one.
Right.
They bowed, and they got a lot of respect for Dawn Stella and what she's doing over there at South Carolina. Before the game, the LSU players say they didn't appreciate Caitlyn Clark doing that to South Carolina.
What'd she do to him?
When she did it to them.
She ain't do that to them.
She did it in that game.
She waved that girl off.
That too, but she did that also in that game.
No, when she did that in the game, that was against Louisville.
No, she did it in both games.
Oh.
Yeah, she did it in both games. She did it against Louisville, and she did it against them. She waved the girl off against South Carolina for the 3-point shot, but they said that they didn't like the disrespect. That's how they took it, as disrespect from Caitlyn against them. And you not gonna do the same thing to us. So basically, they was holding that trump card in they pocket the whole time.
So now this is the contradiction that I see as, right. Right now the argument is it's just trash talk. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we know it's more than that. If you already said before the game you got a personal issue.
And I think that's where it might become a problem, right?
So because if you look at Angel Reese face, if you could read, they don't show you prior to her saying, but her last word was "ho," and it was more so "talk your shit now, ho." You know what I mean? Like,
right. I think it's different, right? If trash talking is game based versus you taking it personal. You know what I'm saying? And I also don't feel like that it's not realistic to take something personal that ain't got nothing to do with you. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's just like if we just go Eastern District basketball, right? You play for Lake Taylor, I play for Booker T, right? We lose to a team of Europeans, and they doing stuff that you don't like, and we from the same city. It don't got nothing to do with you personally, but you take it personal because y'all did it in the sense of, this how we doing it? Okay. So it's all fair and love and war, in my opinion. Like, I don't see nothing wrong with Caitlyn Clark doing it, the Louisville, USC, South Carolina, whoever she did, she balling.
Right.
She had a great game. She got a right to talk her shit.
That's why I felt like if it was just like trash talk, then it wouldn't be personal. It's trash talk. It's kind of like saying nothing personal, it's just business. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But we just talking trash. This is not all fun. It's all good, whatever. But if you take it personally, I think that's when it might become a problem. Because from the perspective of Caitlyn Clark, for instance, every time I've seen her do it, I didn't see it as disrespect. You know what I'm saying? Because
me neither.
She'll make a bucket and then be like, "You can't see me," and she ain't saying it to nobody in particular. She's just saying it. You know what I'm saying?
But trash talk, as a whole, can always be taken as disrespect, or it depends on who it is. Like when Pat Beverly did the too small to LeBron, you could take it how you want to take it. When when Russell Westbrook put you in a post and he rocked the baby.
Right.
That's borderline disrespectful. Because what are you saying? I'm a grown ass man. Are you saying I'm a baby or you know what I mean? But it's basketball. We get it because we grew up playing basketball.
Right. Now that's different though. You know what I'm saying? Because that's him doing that to you, and then he talking trash to you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it's different when you talking trash on behalf of somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Because
it's the same. Say we out Young Park on the court, and I see him do that to you, right? Then the next game we on the court, and I'm playing against him, and I do the same thing to him. I'm doing it because he did it to you.
Right.
So that's just like when people do it to him. Like when people do the too small, it's because they seen that person do it to somebody. So now when I get a chance to get you, I'm gonna get you with your same move.
And see, I seen Austin Reeves do that to Pat Beverly. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I took it as that's LeBron's teammate. That's his brother in that sense.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? But I guess maybe the brother and sisterhood extend beyond your teammates. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it extends however far you want it to extend. But like I say, it's basically me doing what you did to whoever you did it to because that's your signature move or you made that your signature move.
Now, on the other hand, while I hope it's not the case, it seems like it's a black and white thing.
That's what they're making it out of.
That's what it seemed like it is. Like, it seemed like...
And they're only making it out of black and white thing because it happened to Caitlin Clark. Had Caitlin Clark won and did it, it wouldn't have been no bitching from our side.
Right. Well, I'm speaking in regards to, like, for instance, Angel Reese and her response, more so like, if she did that if Caitlin Clark would have did it to a white girl, would Angel Reese's response been the same? You know what I'm saying?
Probably not.
It ain't like South Carolina. It's her homies and her sisters, and she close to them. Right. You know what I'm saying? She said that my SEC sisters. That's a conference. You know what I'm saying? And we know that South Carolina pretty much a black team.
Right, with a black head coach.
Right. And so that's what make it seem like, because I'm pretty sure Caitlin Clark ain't just do that to the black teams.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But I know we got to go check the film and see if she did it to her.
I sure hope not. So, well, I hope she didn't discriminate on who she said can't see her.
That's Larry Bird's daughter.
Oh, my God.
You see the meme they had of Caitlin Clark before the LSU game where they had her and she was doing her little move and the caption say, "None of you niggas can't guard me."
No, I ain't see that shit.
But hey, man, shout out to LSU, man, for winning the national championship. I won a lot of money on LSU, too. On the money line, beating our head up as the underdog. What do you think about President Biden's wife saying that they should invite the losing team to the...
So, that... It's two different angles, right? One angle, I feel like she was trying to do something nice, right? But
has it ever been done before?
No.
You think they would have invited LSU if they would have lost? Because she wanted to be nice?
I can't speak to that per se, but
I asked the opinion, your personal opinion. What do you think?
I don't know. I think to a degree, there could be some bias in there, right? Because, for instance, Jill Biden wanted to come and see LSU before the game. Mm-hmm. She wanted to come to the locker room and speak to them, and they denied her.
No, we ain't rocking with you, baby. We don't want to see you.
But they denied her because Joe Biden didn't have them in the Final Four.
That's a good reason to deny them.
Oh, my gosh.
We taking it personal. As you see, they take everything personal.
They're clearly taking it too personal sometimes, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like that's where some of that bias might come in, where Jill may have taken that personal. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, y'all got beef with me over something that my husband did?
Yep.
You know?
Y'all the package.
But in the same instance, I felt like she was trying to do something based on the magnitude of the stage of the game. The game was on the highest stage that it's ever been on for women. You know what I'm saying? And it was a way of kind of taking the power of women and how far they've come and put it on display. It was wrong. Right. It was wrong because that's something that should be we're in a base now. You do a conference and say you want to invite them to a conference or something like that, but you don't invite the losers to the same thing you invite the winners to. That defeat the purpose of inviting the goddamn winners.
Absolutely.
You know, so I understood, and then this is where it becomes a black and white thing again. The first thing LSU do is hit Michelle Obama up. Like, can we come to your house? You know, like, really? You know, so it always make it in turn look racial.
So you see what Angel Reese said about the White House after that?
No.
She said, oh, what a fucking joke. We ain't going, period.
And she was on the I Am an Athlete podcast, and she was saying that they not going. They want to go to the Obamas. She was really serious about it too. You know what I'm saying? And I felt, because, you know, Jill Biden, she kind of backtracked, and Joe Biden actually went out and said, no, only the winners can come.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And Jill was just like, what? It wasn't like that the way people take it, and people take things, you know.
Especially in the heat of the moment, especially after all that occurred, you know, because everybody kind of had their hopes up high on Iowa, man.
Right, yeah. And the black people win again.
You're fucking racist, Avery.
But you know, it's just tough, man, because being in Jill Biden's position, she was just trying to help the strength side of women, but it seemed as if she just didn't know no better. You know what I'm saying? And so it's tough, man. But I don't blame LSU for feeling the way they feel. Yeah, I probably would have preferred to go to the Obamas anyway, because
we won the championship, man. Talk your shit.
Talk your shit.
The good thing about it is all of them will be back next year.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I ain't realized Angel Reese was a sophomore.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I think the only senior significantly was Alex Morris, right?
But Caitlin Clark, she can play 2 more years of college basketball too if she decides.
Yeah. Would you if you was Caitlin?
Nah, she probably play next year and be done.
Yeah, I feel like she should just leave now, because
that would be very rare, because you don't see females coming out early like that.
I just feel like the expectations for her is gonna go up beyond belief, right? Because of how well she's been, and like she's at her peak now. She ain't gonna get bigger than what she already is. So she really don't got anything to prove. They're not gonna get back to the national championship. You know what I'm saying?
No, they got the player of the year.
They got a player of the year.
No, the player of the year.
Right. And in the same instance, LSU has demonstrated a formula for shutting that shit down. You know what I'm saying? So it just varies, man. I don't know. I think it might be better for her to go ahead on and go to the next level. All right, let's talk NBA guru. You know, it's the NBA season is winding down. You know, it's like 3 games left or something like that. And teams are now jockeying for position to find their place in the playoff picture. The Lakers have been showing up a little bit. You know, people been underestimating now, and players like Anthony Davis has showed up in such a way. So give me your thoughts on the push that they're making and how far you think that they can go.
Lakers are actually very scary right now. They're a very scary team, and it has a lot to do around the additions they made and the subtractions they made at the trade deadline.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And LeBron missing those games, and Anthony Davis starting to play like Anthony Davis of old. And LeBron going to come back, and he going to start playing like LeBron of old. And they're undefeated since the moves that they made, and they all been playing together while they're all on the court together. They're undefeated.
Hey, that's a good look.
They scary, man, and there's no team in the West really that looks overpowering.
Well, the Suns is undefeated with KD in the lineup.
They got a better overall, you know what I mean, because they're younger.
Mm-hmm.
They're a little more athletic, but shit, nobody can stop Anthony Davis on Phoenix down low. None of them really can stop LeBron, but I feel like neither. The same goes for KD and Devin Booker.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's gonna get interesting, man. But I want to take my hat off actually and shout out Mike Brown, because I thought they were setting the man up for a disaster, sending him down there to sack. I think we said that on the podcast prior to the season when he first took the job, and he did an outstanding Coach of the Year type of job.
Absolutely. And when he took that job, I think that's when Memphis beat Golden State by 50 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And we was like, Sacramento, like, oh, shit.
Yeah, he had to step in for Steve Nash.
For
intern
Steve
coach.
Kerr. Yeah.
Steve Kerr.
But you're right. He definitely turned that whole team around. And it's crazy because I don't think they had any significant additions, like, from a star standpoint. You know what I'm saying? They got
Sabonis.
the same. Did they just add Sabonis?
But they added him last year at the trade deadline.
Right, and he's a substantial addition for sure.
Goddamn right he is.
And I think that switched the whole thought process of the team up. And while we feel like the Lakers are scared, I feel like that they scared, but I feel like a lot of people's underestimate Sacramento. Even though I would prefer to play Sacramento over everybody else.
Everybody would, because they're young and they're inexperienced.
Well, the one way to get experience is to play that shit. For sure. So let's talk West. Who you feel like coming out the West?
It's a toss-up, man. Phoenix right now will probably be the front runner, with the Lakers being the dark horse. I don't see Denver doing it. Clippers, they can't stay healthy. If they could, they got a good a chance as anyone. Like the West is so crazy because there's no team that is superior. If you look, the team that's in 4th can drop to 11th, and the team that's in, you know what I mean? Like, it's that tight. It's like 3 or 4 teams with the same amount of losses.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? The Clippers got 38, Golden State got 38, the Lakers got 38. Like I say, from 3 down, from sack on down, you got Phoenix in a bunch with the Lakers, Clippers, Golden State, New Orleans. Like, all of them teams can kind of rotate position.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
to watch the
I just
playoffs.
want everybody to stay healthy, man. If they all healthy, then shit, we might get a
hell of a goddamn playoffs.
Because Memphis is not gonna lay down for nobody, and Ja got something to play for now, and something to prove.
Right, and then you got Golden State, who got Andrew Wiggins coming back. If he is focused enough and in good shape,
Well, did they ever get the real story about why the man been gone from basketball so long?
I heard a sportscaster say somebody in his family was ill.
His father. That's what the latest thing said, that he'll be back this week after dealing with the health of his father.
Yeah, I heard that, and then I heard that his baby mama
Smashing the homeless?
Yeah, was smashing the homies and giving birth to the homeless kids that he
Well, she made a tweet, or she did something, Instagram or Twitter, and said that was absolutely not true, and she don't know where the hell that came from.
Yeah, it's crazy because she made the first tweet that I seen her make. She didn't say that. She just said, like, yeah, I don't know what y'all talking about type of thing, right? And then I guess somebody said, well, you ain't denied. You know what I'm saying?
Have she yet denied it?
I haven't seen anything that says it, but I'm just minding my business. This new media shit just kind of ain't for everybody all the time. All right, let's talk East. Who you see coming out of the East? And the East is pretty tight right now.
East stacked really from 1 through 4, 5 maybe. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to my Knicks, man, with the addition of Jalen Brunson, and then we made some key moves to get us to the fifth seed, man. We locked in the playoffs. We got a tough matchup with Cleveland, and I really had Cleveland going far at the beginning of the season because they got 2 bigs that can play. Then they got 2 guards that are all-stars. You know what I mean? Then they got a few role players, but I think Milwaukee is the most dominant team until I seen them get beat by 50 against Boston. So you don't know, man. Like, Boston can go back. Milwaukee has the most dominant lineup,
Okay.
starting lineup, because they got Giannis and he can't be stopped. You know, I seen teams build a wall, but if Drew Holiday and the supporting cast is hitting their shots, then you got it. That's gonna break that wall down.
Right.
And if you break that wall down, then who is gonna stop Giannis 1-on-1?
Nobody. Like, at this point in time, I don't feel like there's anybody that can stop Giannis.
Then you got Brook Lopez that's hitting the three. You know what I mean? You got Drew Holiday went for 50 something the other day. But then you got Joel Embiid that's playing out of his mind. And you don't know what you're going to get out of James Harden in the playoffs because he don't show up in the playoffs. So it's like the East is stacked.
The East is fun. Like, I feel like, and I don't know, did you mention the Celtics?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They
Yeah,
just
because
beat the Bucks by 50.
that's...
How can you not mention them?
I'm just interested to see what's going to happen. It damn sure got me looking forward to the playoffs and how that's going to pan out, because I just feel like it can go any direction. Anybody can win that shit. You know what I'm saying? And because of that, that lets me know there's no clear-cut front runner. I mean, there's a front runner in the West, but even then, that's not clear-cut. And I'm talking Phoenix.
Right, because you don't know what these people going to do health-wise. Kevin Durant, you know, hurt himself in the layup line.
Yeah.
So you don't know, you know, but if everybody stay healthy, then I could see Phoenix and Milwaukee.
Absolutely.
In the finals. Who you got as the MVP now?
That's so I got the front runner, Joel Embiid, and that's because every time I watch him playing the game, he is moving, the way he moved, the way he played, the way he shoot. He fucking unstoppable.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong, Giannis is unstoppable. And Jokic, I was watching First Take earlier, right? And Stephen A. Smith said something that made me wonder, right? He said that since they've been speaking in regards to Jokic and him winning it 3 in a row, it's like he slacked off, like he don't want to win it. You know what I'm saying?
I think he's been battling that calf injury a little longer than what they kind of let us believe that he's been battling it.
Okay. So yeah, I thought that was different to hear because his performance changed.
Right.
But I feel like Joel Embiid is clear cut.
Yeah, I do too.
He should, and it's about that time, man. Like they got to stop doing my man that dirty, man. they doing him dirt ball dirty. So, but we'll see. It's a white world out there, man.
Right.
It's white.
Coach of the year. Coach
of the year is who we just spoke of, Mike Brown. To me,
definitely. I mean, hands down, should be.
Absolutely. He's always been a great coach, but I don't think he's gotten the credit for being a great coach. You know what I'm saying? The credit that he deserved at least. So I'm happy for him, and I hope he win that too, because that's well deserved. All right, let's take a break, man. Let's take a break, step out for a bit, and then we got some more stuff to talk about. So stay with us. Bet More Sports. Welcome back to the Bet More Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Avery Fuller, with my co-host, Stephen Chapman Bay, a.k.a.
The Guru.
We back at it again with another podcast. And again, as I stated earlier, make sure y'all visit www.betmoorsports.com. For all your sports bet handicapping needs, we got the Guru for show. And the Guru is on Pizzon. If you don't know, now you know. All right, it's been more and more in sports. Guru, I was watching First Take earlier today again, and they was talking about the best sport postseason. And they pretty much line them up from first to worst between the MLB, the NBA, the NHL, the NFL, and NCAA. So let's bring that to the BETMOORSPORTS podcast. What do you think, first to worst, line them up?
Before I start, I'm going to say this. You know I haven't lost a championship bet in 23-plus years. If you don't believe me, check with the Swami. He'll stamp it for you.
That's crazy. That's
I'm
a long
talking
goddamn
about
time.
all sports, from college, basketball, football, NFL, Major League Baseball, NHL,
Well, one thing that I can do is
NBA.
I can validate the Super Bowl for damn sure.
Yeah, I don't do too much championship losing. Now I can tell you who's gonna be a champion, because I'm a champion.
Nothing like it. But that says a ton, because that means you might want to make sure that you are in tune and inclined to make your bets when it come down to these postseasons that's coming up.
Yeah,
It's quite a few. Of them.
absolutely. But from first to worst, it's difficult because all of them are exciting in their own right. You know, football is more one game, so of course that level of excitement is there versus Stanley Cup baseball and NBA, where you got a series and they can get long and drawn out, and it's a lot that can go on in a series versus if you don't bring your A game today.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? So probably I would say first would be March Madness for me, because you got so many relatively unknowns.
Right.
And anybody can have a good day.
The invention of Cinderella to
Right.
me is the difference.
And that's the biggest difference maker is the fact that you see them often, right? So you know that every year and every tournament is gonna be one
Always.
or many upsets. Like this year is a prime example because you had no top 2 or 3 teams in the Final Four.
I think it was the Elite Eight. What?
In the Elite Eight, you didn't have no top 2 teams or 3. Did you have any top 3 teams in the Elite Eight?
I don't think so. I don't recall seeing a number 3 seed in the Elite Eight. Matter of fact, I don't even know. I don't think any number 3 seeds made it to the Sweet 16. Damn near.
So you know, Darren is in itself kind of speaks to the level of play of March Madness, right? That's the most exciting to me, you know, because you got the brackets, you can fill out the brackets. You know, it's so much, especially from a gambling standpoint. It's so much that you can do with March Madness. So I'm gonna say that's probably first by default.
Okay.
NFL playoffs are not, to me, as exciting until you get to the Super Bowl or to the conference championships for real, to be honest. You know what I mean? But I'm going to put that second because I'm a huge
NFL fan.
Then I'm going NBA, Major League, Stanley Cup, and college football probably last.
Okay. All right. I see it a little tiny bit different, right? I agree with March Madness because of the Cinderella factor, the one and done factor, the fact that any team can win, and it's a bunch of teams, and you got teams who aren't expected to win, put in a position where they can win, and I think it's good to see the way teams like that compete against teams that are considered upper echelon.
Right. Like even last year with North Carolina's run to the championship, it wasn't expected.
Right, exactly. And there's always a team in there that's throwing dirt in the game. What was it, the team last year? That was I think they made it to either the Elite Eight or the Final Four. They had the dude, the young boy from here.
I know you're talking about. The coach left and went to Providence.
Yep, just like the team coach FAU.
Was
well,
it
no,
not
not FAU.
It was was it one of them weak ass teams?
Yeah. The
coach this year.
Coach left instantly. I feel like the March Madness joint is an opportunity for coaches too, because coaches really leave right away.
Right.
For instance, Shaka Smart, he's a great coach, but he got a ton of opportunity from March Madness alone.
Mm-hmm.
But after March Madness, I got the NFL because of the one and done factor. But I feel like that it can be exciting if your team is in it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But like I say, even from a gambling standpoint, you know, because I put that above my team, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, handicapping is my livelihood, so it's something I do for a living. So just from the gambling standpoint, the Super Bowl is the most exciting.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Championship. If we're gonna go championship, the Super Bowl is way far more exciting than the NCAA championship.
Right.
So don't confuse the two when I say I'm giving March Madness as a whole, right?
Mm-hmm.
The nod over the NFL.
Right.
The reason why I give NFL second is because the Super Bowl as a whole is the biggest game on any stage.
Right. I agree.
It's bigger than the NBA championship because, like I said, it's a 7-game series. And it's bigger than NHL and Major League Baseball, college football, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
It's the creme de la creme, so to speak.
All right. Well, after the NFL, I got the NHL. And the main
I ain't
reason,
mad at you. That's a good pick.
you know, I feel like the NHL is literally one shot away. You know what I'm saying? And because it's a one-shot game, and it could be 0-0 the whole game, and somebody score a goal at the end of the game, I feel like that's a difference maker because now you're excited because you just kind of tuning in to see who's going to make that goal.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I put them there. Then afterwards, I put the NBA up. And that's because it's easier, you know, like when you're following the NBA, in playoff time, you got it's great players out there playing at an extremely high level. When you're playing in the playoffs, everything changes. The way in which these players are playing, they putting it all on the line at this point. They ain't taking games off. You know what I'm saying? And so because of that, you kind of get the best out of everybody.
Right.
And I think that's what you kind of look forward to. And it's not saying that don't happen in MLB because it does, but MLB can have a tendency of getting boring after a while, right? Let's say you get a game where the team up 8-0. It gets boring. It's already long as fuck. And so outside of that, you know, you kind of gotta it has to be competitive in order for it to be interesting. And the one thing about baseball that's different from anything else is some games can be competitive and some games won't. You know what I'm saying?
That's in any sport.
Like, it's like that.
You can get some blowouts in basketball.
Right.
Where a team get up 40 and then it's like, man, let me find something else to watch.
But what's the probability of that happening in the postseason?
It's not really. It's not likely. It's almost as likely as baseball. Like, because you got to understand in baseball, you shortening your rotation, so you ain't got nothing but the top pitchers. If the bats get hot, the bats get hot. That's one of the good things about baseball, right? Just like a 3-point shooter or a team in basketball. If Steph Curry and them get hot, when they had Kevin Durant and them, they was blowing people out. You know what I mean? Like a lot of those series was born, even the championships, when you know you got Golden State sweeping Cleveland. Who the fuck want to see a team get beat four games to nothing in the championship?
Yeah, I get that, but it was still the process of watching it, of seeing, you know, Steph and them go crazy. Don't get me wrong. By the time it's 3-0 and you're in the fourth, the last game, and they up by 15, 20, then it's like, oh, okay, it's just regular. But you got hope. That's the term I'm gonna use, right? Because hope come in because LeBron and them came back from being down 3-1. Right. You know what I'm saying? And won. And so, you know, when you playing LeBron, you don't really count nothing out.
I agree. Not to switch topics, I'm gonna let you finish the rest of your list. What you think about the rule changes in baseball?
I feel like it's they way late on it. Like, it should have been took place because of one of the biggest complaints about baseball is how long the game is.
Right.
And because the game is so long, it's already 172 of them shits. So, you know what I'm saying? When the game is that long, you got to kind of make some changes to at least increase the pace of the game. You know what I'm saying? And force the players to increase the pace of the game. If not, they're going to be taking their time, flipping the ball, flipping the little powder bags, and you know, I hate it. And it's worse when the game is on TV because I can't even see them flipping the bags. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just kind of sitting there, you know, waiting to see what's next or watching a commercial.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that time change make a difference, man. It's definitely speeding the game up,
right?
Adding a more of a pace to the game, and it could be a disadvantage now. You know what I'm saying, for like pitchers, for instance, because pitchers got to move faster than they originally planned to, and we'll see how the batting and things add up at the end of the year. You know, you kind of know it's a difference there if, let's say, more home runs is hit this year or more bats on bases.
Well, they're saying they're juicing the baseballs again, so you're liable to see more home runs.
They juicing the baseballs. Well, listen, if they juicing the baseballs, I really don't. I don't be having a problem with juicing, right? If everybody's allowed to do it.
I'm talking about the baseballs.
Right. But if everybody is hitting the same juiced baseball, I don't got a problem with it because it's no disadvantage.
Yeah. One time they was doing it, they said they was only doing it for the televised games, making the televised games more interesting. Now they're saying they got them back in. There's no way to prove it, but we'll see. I think speeding up the pitcher will, over amount of time, take an effect on the pitcher's arms.
Right, absolutely.
You know, outside of those pitchers who normally pitch fast. You know what I mean? But that wasn't the only rule they changed. Like, you can't attempt to pick off a runner more than twice.
Which, that's a good thing, too.
If you go the third time, if you don't get him out, it's an automatic balk. So he automatically gets the next base.
That's, listen, whoever sat down and had this conversation, to me, I feel like that's genius.
Right.
Because it's creating a form of accountability, because a lot of times that's what's holding the games up.
They made the bases bigger.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
So that shortens the base path, so you're going to see a lot more stolen bases.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention, like I said, you can't attempt to pick off. So if I know you can't throw over here past a certain number of times, you know what I mean?
Right. Then
the likelihood of me stealing the next time is greater.
But it's going to force pitchers, number one, to be more strategic, right? Because you're going to have to pick and choose what you go after. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And when you got to pick and choose what you go after, it creates a form of either second guessing, or you're going to have to figure out a way to manipulate the rule. You know what I'm saying? Where, you know, maybe he don't step on the mound all the way. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that clock gonna still be running.
Right, but even then, he can make a move based on what he see from the runner. You know what I'm saying? So if the runner is stepping off the bag, look like he about to run, and he'll never step up on that mound, then he can kind of make that move, and that runner can't take off. But I don't know. It just varies, man. It's good for the game, though. It's definitely one of the better things that they should have been did long time ago. I'm just interested to see how it's going to impact the season and how these guys hit the ball and how the pitchers manage their pitching and their arms, and you know, because that's the biggest part of it. It's something different. And don't get me wrong, it's the first year of it, so it's going to definitely be different this year than any other year. They'll be able to improvise and make whatever adjustments they need to make in the years to come, but this is the year where you can really see the substantial difference from what it was last year as opposed to what it is this year. WrestleMania was this past weekend, man. It was really entertaining, man. Like it was. I was drunk I was really drunk because what we do is we'll bet on a match. We'll bet a shot on the match, and
you and your wife.
me. So we had people over too, like
I forgot
John.
you had a WrestleMania party.
Yeah. So and everybody there will pick a match. So if the match is up, we'll pick the winner, and if we don't win, we got to take a shot. And so it was like that for those 2 days, man. And I was picking some losers. I was picking some losers, but it was fun, man. I enjoyed it. Snoop Dogg and The Miz is entertaining as shit balls. Roman Reigns is the man. You know what I'm saying? He.
That was actually the first WrestleMania I watched.
Yeah, I was surprised when
I was in the house bored, man, and I had a little tequila.
Yeah,
and I saw somebody post something about the championship match, and if Roman Reigns win, that they weren't watching wrestling or something. They said that they can't let my man, the American Dream son, go down like that. But when I thought about it, Dusty Rhodes was never a champion, so it's quite natural that this boy will probably never be one neither.
And I don't see him never being a champion. I just think that it's not his time. Like, he just got back. Like, he left the company, went and created a whole new company, and then left that company and came back. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I can't see that happening right away, but I feel like it will happen at some point. You know what I'm saying?
Kissed the baby and kissed his wife and did all that before the match to get your ass whooped. But they jumped him, man.
Yeah, that's what they do, man. That's what they do, And I think that's something that we kind of knew that was going to happen. It was just about how it happened and if support came in. And, it's interesting to see, to say the least. Fucking Lakers, man. And did you hear the news about UFC pretty much merging with WWE?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, UFC bought WWE for $9 billion. So people was kind of worried, you know what I'm saying, that UFC gonna be like, nigga, that shit fake. So we need to make it real. You know what I'm saying?
I would love to see it like UFC, but with wrestling moves.
That would never work. It'll be broken necks.
I mean, but that's UFC. UFC is almost like wrestling.
UFC is nowhere near like wrestling.
Just outside of the stunts.
Right, but that's what make wrestling. The stunts,
the
chairs,
see them
the
real.
tables.
I want to see people get smack me with a chair. Be like a barroom brawl.
Bruh, do you realize that no wrestler would last? Ever, bruh. Ever. Like, they world-class athletes, but they are trained to fall a certain way and to,
right.
If they jumping off the ropes, they jumping off a specific way, and they communicating with their in-ring partner at the time to make sure that they know what to prepare for. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Man, if you fighting UFC, man.
I mean, you can still have the script, just make some real punches.
Bro, how can you make a script when a nigga punches your face for real, like, and knock you out? Like, bruh, ain't no script for that. Ain't no script for that. I can't imagine that.
Right.
That shit would be terrible. But I feel like it's hard to determine what's next. You know what I'm saying? Because of the changes and because they're trying to make it one big, massive company. I just hope that they don't change the WWE brand and interrupt what the WWE has built for centuries. Well, not centuries, but for years on into a point where it'll create some serious problems. But we'll see, man. We'll see. WWE has gotten interesting, though. Especially on Monday night because Brock Lesnar partnered up with Cody Rhodes. And then they came in and they was facing Roman Reigns and the Deuce Solo, who come down with Roman Reigns. And when they came to the ring preparing to fight, Brock Lesnar took Cody Rhodes and beat the shit out of him. Like, and it was surprising because they were supposed to be partners. And he just slammed through the table, hit him with chairs. I mean, he was just beating him. Security had to come down to some more shit. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen following that shit. Because, man, Brock Lesnar done went crazy again.
That's your guy, ain't it?
That's my guy, absolutely. But he done went crazy again, and I don't know why. But we'll see.
They need some new wrestlers, man, because these dudes is old.
Yeah, listen, these dudes is old, but the new wrestlers, man, it's this new generation, man. The new generation of wrestlers is just, I don't know what it's real questionable, man. It's real questionable. It's no brawlers out there like, you know, The Rock and Stone Cold that has the charisma to carry the show. Mm-hmm. That's why Roman Reigns been handing the belt for so damn long. Because there ain't nobody out there to carry the show if they were to take the belt from him.
Right.
You know, so, you know, it's a tough pill to swallow, but I get it. You know, I'm just kind of waiting for somebody to show up. And maybe one day somebody will, but until then, they're going to keep bringing old motherfuckers back that had the charisma, that had the brawling and all that stuff. And even though they old, they can't wrestle every day, so they ain't going to win the belt. All right, this weekend is gonna be real interesting. You know, you got some UFC popping up, but then you got Norfolk's own hopping up in the ring, in Newark. KeyShawn Davis fighting some dude, but that's gonna be real interesting to watch. From a UFC perspective, you got Israel Adesanya. He's fighting again. He's fighting a rematch from the fight that he got stopped last time around. And it's weird because for some reason all the Africans is losing now. The Africans is losing big right now. But then you got Jorge Masvidal fighting that fight too. He's fighting Gilbert Burns, and Gilbert Burns is, I think, the number 2 rated overall, and he's a beast. So that'll be real interesting to watch. But ultimately, I'm looking more forward to the KeyShawn Davis fight, and you know, watch him put one on for the city.
Yeah, his brother fighting on the same card that night.
Yep. And I expect both of them to come out victorious in a great fashion. I don't want to see no struggling. I don't want to see no, you know, I see KeyShawn post a lot on social media during his training camp. And, you know, it's like, I need you to focus, my guy.
Yeah, what do you think about Shakur moving up?
I think he got to if he want to make a difference. Like he already did what he's supposed to do at that weight class, and a lot of times now, legacies is built upon the ability to win in multiple weight classes. That's why you got a lot of people that move up and down as they need to. But I feel like he also big as hell. You know what I'm saying? So it'll be good for him if he can take his skill set and not lose anything. You know what I'm saying? If he can gain more power but not lose speed, then it'll be substantial because he'll be fucking unstoppable at that next level, you know. But, again, we'll see. You know, when you go up in weight, they hit harder. And the one thing that you can say that Shakur ain't really had is somebody hit him real good. Right. You know what I'm saying? So, we'll see. We'll see. I'm just interested to see this fight on Saturday. And I want to see him fight somebody, a known fighter. You know what I'm saying? Like, right now, he's just kind of fighting who's there. And I get it. But, you know, might be time for him to fight Tank or you know, even Ryan Garcia after they fight. I don't care. Fight somebody of value in the eye of the public.
Right.
So
what about Kambosos, Lomachenko?
Exactly. But I think Lomachenko about to fight
Devin Haney again.
Devin Haney, yeah. Mm-hmm. Which I think that's going to be a good fight too, man. I feel like it's Devin Haney's chance to really prove himself.
Right. And that's kind of strange too because 3 of the top boxers in that class are all top-ranked fighters, and they all say they ain't fighting each other.
Right. And I think that's a cop-out, personally. You know what I'm saying? I think they don't want to fight each other. It don't make sense, like, to not fight each other if you fighting for the same purpose.
Right, and in the same weight class.
Right. Like, if
So
not,
what happens if I get all the belts? I'm never going to take a shot at the title.
Exactly. I'm supposed to just watch you get all the shine. Nah, bro, we gonna fight, bro.
Sooner or later, you're going to have to fight.
Exactly. And I think that's a big reason why I think Shakur might be moving up. You know what I'm saying? Because what I noticed with a lot of these fighters is they don't want to fight them, so they move up. And it ain't out of fear or nothing like that. It's just
Shakur moved into their weight class.
Oh yeah, that was smart on his part.
Right.
Because that's the most popular weight class right now. That's the
Right.
one. So, if he go to there and master that weight class, then he gonna solidify himself.
That's what I'm saying. But what happens when I get the shot at Tank first, or I get the shot at Garcia? If Garcia happens to beat Tank, which I don't think is going to happen, but if I get the shot at the title first and I got all the belts, are you saying that everybody else in the camp is just going to sit back and wait for somebody else to beat me to come back to get I ain't with all that.
I think boxing is still a business, and so while they say that,
Yeah,
I
they're
feel like
gonna have to fight.
they're gonna have to. When it all boils down, these motherfuckers gonna have to step up because people want to see it, and if people is clamoring for it, they're gonna have to answer that call. That's what promoters do. You know what I'm saying? But you got people again. They take ways of avoiding those fights by moving up.
Right.
And so. And I mean, don't get me wrong. That class is crazy. That boxing class is crazy to a point that 2 or 3 of them can move up and make changes in the next level. You know what I'm saying? And it still be a popular class, but oh no, something got to give though. Right. Something got to give. We want to see fighting. We don't want to see hugging and shit. So y'all was friends. That don't mean that
we can still be friends after the boxing match.
Exactly. What about that Tank and Ryan Garcia fight coming up week after next?
I like Tank.
Well, yeah, of course you like Tank. Tank is your guy.
Yeah, it's my guy.
Yes, sir. But I agree. I got Tank stoppage. I think Tank gonna knock him out, and I think he gonna knock him out similar to that of what's his name? I can't think his name.
So you're giving the people a deadbolt lot to bet Tank on a stop?
Yep, stoppage before 10.
Sounds like a good bet.
Straight up. Santa Cruz.
Mm-hmm.
He gonna knock him out clean. And I feel like Ryan Garcia got that power too. So Ryan Garcia can potentially hurt Tank.
Right.
But in the process, I feel like if he hurt Tank, that's what's gonna hurt him. Because the moment he hurt Tank, he gonna get hungry, and then Tank gonna lay some shit out of nowhere, and he gonna lose his shit. As Rolly will tell you, don't do it. Come on, LeBron.
You had to hit that. Kawhi just hit another one back to back. Hit one at the buzzer before half, and then he came and just hit another.
I just don't get why LeBron don't go to the cup. Like, bro, go to the cup. What? Does it take all your energy that much?
He just let Russ shoot.
Yeah, just watch him shoot. Caitlin clocked that. Oh man, it's gonna be a good weekend, so I'm definitely looking forward to it. Speaking of LeBron, the infamous debate, LeBron and Jordan, who the GOAT, and a lot of the arguments is LeBron is not feared and Jordan was feared. That kind of raised a question to me, and that question is initially, Guru, would you rather be loved or would you rather be feared?
I really don't know. To be honest, I probably would rather be loved. For a great portion of my life, I was kind of both. Mm-hmm. So that's a tricky question because
I think people might have loved you out of fear.
I believe, most of my family loved me out of love and respect. A lot of people were scared of me. I don't know why. I didn't do anything to intimidate anybody, but a lot of people were scared of me growing up.
Because I don't know whether you realize this or not, right? But have you seen yourself? You just look mean for no reason, bro. You know what I'm saying? You just look mean, and it ain't your fault. You know what I'm saying? But that's how it is. And then not only that, you look mean, and then you had a reputation. So of course, naturally, people are gonna approach it in that sense. You know, it's it. When you look mean, you look mean.
But at this age, I would much rather be loved, right? Because with love comes a certain level of respect.
Mm-hmm.
With fear, if a person's scared of you, he'll kill you. You know, out of
fear, yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm too old for y'all to be scared of me right now, man. Just love me or leave me the hell alone.
I just want to be loved. I just want to be loved.
What about you?
I prefer love over fear, and it's kind of based on what you said. Love comes with a significant amount of respect, and plus, I don't want anybody to fear me, because who the fuck am I that you know what I'm saying, that you should be afraid of me? I ain't out to try to do hurt or cause any harm to anybody whatsoever. In fact, I prefer to help over harm. You know what I'm saying? So fearing me does you no justice.
Right.
Now, my kids, I prefer them to love me and fear me. You know what I'm saying? Because of the respect that come with the love and the respect that come with fear.
Right.
You know what
and
I'm
that's
saying?
crazy, because I don't want my children to be scared of me. You know what I mean? Even though a lot of them, I mean, they are. I don't want them to be. And I try to teach, especially my youngest two, not to be afraid of me, to the point where, you know what I mean, I want you to respect me quite naturally, but don't be afraid of no one,
Right.
to be honest.
I get it, but I think that the biggest thing with a kid and a parent, a father in particular, is fear is the way to develop the respect, because the respect has to be developed. Right? If they see you as equals, if they see you or look at you in a way outside of who you are, they're not going to respect you because they don't know how. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I say that to the degree of, like, I don't want you to be afraid, but I want you to have enough respect for me that you won't do anything to test whether you need to fear me or not.
Okay.
Like, for most instances, when you got like kings and countries, people respect the king. When you have great spiritual leaders, people respect them to a great deal of respect that they won't do anything to bring that respect into question, right? I'm not necessarily scared of this particular person, but I respect them to the point where I'm not even going to let you do anything to them.
Right, but
You know what I'm saying?
I think we're in an era of pretty much where people like to test things, right? Like people feel like you got to earn my respect. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's not where I'm not going to respect you because you're the king, right? Because I don't have a reason to respect you. And I think it's just strange that like with a kid, they got to learn and understand I'm using the term repercussions of not respecting.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And a part of that is what creates the fear.
Right.
So it's important, and don't get me wrong, I feel like that the fear should be temporary.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To help them gain the understanding of respect overall and what is required of it. But I think that at some point you open up that door to where you say, hey, talk to me about whatever you want to talk about. It's open door. You know what I'm saying? It's no pressure. I ain't here to judge. I ain't here to discipline. I ain't here to do none of that. But it's really hard to discipline and teach discipline to a kid without.
Right. See, now I say that. The reason why I say that, and you know, we family, so I know how kind of we both came up, right? My dad was in my life. You know what I mean? He wasn't in my home, but he played a part in my life, my upbringing. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And I never was afraid of my dad, right? I had the utmost respect for him when I was little, but my dad used to whoop our ass for real. You know, we grew up in the era where ass whoopings was natural in the house, you know what I mean? And I had a reputation for being kind of bad, you know what I mean? So Pops used to whoop me, and after a while, as I got older and I started gaining respect in the streets and people became afraid of me in the streets, I lost respect for my father based upon the fact that I felt like some of your tactics, well, borderline bullying,
Right.
to the point where you're my dad, and you know I was a little kid, and you know you 6'4", and you big. I can't whoop you, right? There's nothing I could do to hurt you, and I respect you to the point where I'm not gonna do anything. But once I got to the teenage level, it was like, all right, now, nigga, you can't whoop me no more.
And I get that, right? I think it's one of those things where it's a foundation base, right?
Right.
If you can't have a foundation based on whooping ass or fear. You know what I'm saying? The foundation has to be based on respect and loyalty for each other. You know, and that's from the parent to the kid. But the discipline has to occur, right? Because if the discipline don't occur, it can create a magnitude of problems for the kid and the parent.
Right. So I discipline my children, but I let them know why. Right.
Right. That communication is essential.
And I let them know that it's not something that I prefer doing. I prefer you to do what the fuck you supposed to do, and me not have to do anything to discipline you, because that's kind of the order of things. You do what you're supposed to do. I do what I'm supposed to do as a parent, and everything works perfectly.
Absolutely. And kids tend to make it hard.
Absolutely. Now on the sports tip, I would rather be feared.
Okay, that makes sense. But why?
Because I don't need you to love me. I need you to know that I'm out here to bust your ass. And I want you to be scared. I want you to have nightmares at night, like people had nightmares, God and Jordan. Like people had nightmares playing the Chicago Bulls. Like people had nightmares playing the 85 Bears defense. Like people had nightmares playing the Baltimore Ravens defense. You know, like people had nightmares trying to stop the greatest show on turf, and so on and so forth. Like people had nightmares blocking Lawrence Taylor or Patrick Willis, or checking Randy Moss or Jerry Rice. You know what I mean? Like, them people are feared.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. That make 100% sense. And why would you want somebody to love you in a competitive sport?
I'm out here to hurt you. I mean, not physically, but like when I played football, I was out there to physically hurt you.
Hence why people would be afraid. Like, yo, get that nigga away from me, bro.
Right. So, but that's the sport, and that's the way we were taught the sport at that age. We was taught that it was a violent sport.
It still is.
Right, but it's not as violent.
It's not as violent.
When we played, you know, and we was taught the violence. We was taught to kill the quarterback and decapitate the wide receiver, and the wide receiver couldn't come across the middle.
Kill the quarterback.
You got to keep your head on a swivel coming across that middle as a wide receiver back in those days, where in this day and time, shit, you can go across the middle and
keep going.
Yeah, like the middle is free ground because a person can't hurt you. He can't hit you to hurt you.
You go across the middle now, they damn near grabbing you and hugging you and then laying you down on the ground.
Because you defenseless.
Easy. And depending on when it happened, they like, bruh, defenseless receiver at the end of the game create problems all day long. So I get it. But yeah, I agree. I prefer to be feared too. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the problem with LeBron. Nobody is afraid of that guy at all.
He don't do nothing to scare you.
They love him though.
But he could and should be feared because he is physically bigger than Jordan ever was, and he is more dominant and unstoppable if he chose to be.
Right, but he's a gentle giant.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I say if with that frame, man, and that ability, man, shit, ain't nobody supposed to want to play LeBron.
Can you imagine if Jordan had LeBron's frame and ability?
Can you imagine if LeBron had Jordan heart and killer instinct?
Yeah, they'd be the same damn person. Oh no! Hey, can you imagine if LeBron played during the Jordan era and Kobe watched LeBron and Jordan? Kobe will be stupid. Kobe is the master. He's a master of mimicking.
Right.
He locked that down. He's a study king. So.
Well, I'm gonna say this: it probably won't be another player like LeBron for a long time.
I don't agree. I feel like that LeBron is he's big, he's intelligent, but the way the game is going now, that's what kids in high school are learning that side of the game now.
Right, but they're not as big, not as strong, not as fast, not as athletic as LeBron.
But they're out there. Like LeBron is not an anomaly for his athleticism. You know what
He's
I'm saying?
an anomaly for all of the above, though.
So,
to be that big, that strong, and that fast, and jump that high with that IQ, you're not gonna see that in a long time. In my opinion,
take that young boy from France, right?
He don't have the body type as LeBron.
Right, but it don't mean he can't get it.
That boy ain't gonna never get no game. They already say they don't want him to get no bigger, because that's the same way Kevin Durant. Like, you don't want guys with those frames to get any bigger, because it's gonna be hell on their knees and their feet. Man, already nigga feet long as half court.
Yeah, it is. But I still feel like, you know, it's basketball, so you're gonna have athletic players.
Right, but you're gonna see more players like him. You know what I mean? Following under the mold of Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant kind of changed the game to a degree because he is 7 feet, can dribble, can shoot, and can do all of that. And you got Chet Holmgren that, you know what I mean, can do the same things. Now you got the young boy from France that fall in that mold.
But I mean, you can argue that Giannis is similar to LeBron from a frame perspective, and Giannis was Kevin Durant when he came to the league.
He is the closest thing, right? And when I say he's the closest thing, his IQ ain't to the level of LeBron's.
Okay.
His skill set really is not to the level of LeBron's. He's just LeBron on steroids. Plus, he's a little bit bigger, a little bit taller, and maybe a tad bit faster.
And it's more of them coming.
Right.
Like these kids are on. Somebody is putting something in the water.
Right. But LeBron could shoot a little bit. Giannis can't shoot at all.
Yeah, I don't think Giannis really got to shoot though. When can't nobody stop you, Giannis has determined, can't nobody stop me. I can literally, you know how Jordan did in Space Jam when he jumped up and he reached his long arm out and it stretched all the way across.
That's that boy Wembanyama. That boy shot a 3-pointer and got the rebound and dunked it without even goddamn bringing the ball back down.
Easy.
I ain't never seen nothing like that.
And he young. So imagine when he can become developed like Giannis had to do.
He fragile too, though, man. Like, this ain't France.
Yeah, it ain't France.
And Chet Holmgren ain't make it through the preseason.
Yeah, but Chet Holmgren, my man didn't make it through the Pro-Am.
And they built about the same, shorter, just taller.
Yeah, but I feel like he got more skill set too.
You think he more skilled than Chet Holmgren?
Absolutely. Like, I feel like he will bring more to a team than Chet Holmgren will.
I don't know.
And don't get me wrong, Chet is skilled, but
Chet in a hell of a place though. Like, them boys from OKC when they get him.
Oh yeah. And what you think of the new change? So they making a change in the NBA where players that you draft won't affect your cap. So if I draft you, I can pay you max dollars without it impacting me bringing in another max player.
Oh, wow.
And it's solely based on me drafting you. You know what I'm saying? Which I feel like the owners of Golden State presented that rule because when you really think about it, they would want to keep everybody.
That was something Draymond lobbied for.
Gotta be. Because if not, they're going to have to separate at some point. You know what I'm saying? And so, but I think they either passing it or they passed it all already. But I had to do some research on that and find out. No matter what, it's definitely interesting. All right. So, man, listen, we know it's been a good show. It's been a good day. You know, the Lakers playing right now, and we ain't going to get that number 6 seed, not tonight. But no matter what.
They fighting back, man. They fighting back.
Keep
hope alive.
Oh, well, it's only in the third, so there's actually plenty of time.
They're on a 19-3 run.
Okay. All right. A 19-3 run and we still down 8. God damn. We looking at whoop. Shit. But we'll see. We'll see. You know, we got LeBron and AD in the game, and as long as AD man up.
LeBron had 3 points at halftime.
What do you got now?
Probably 5.
Damn.
But AD balling.
Well, tell you one thing. You think AD got what it take now if he can stay healthy?
If that's a big if.
That's a big if. You know, I don't know.
LeBron got 15 now.
Oh, okay. All right, good.
Yeah, AD only got 11.
That's a good foul. All right. Well, look, man, tune in this weekend. Holla at your boy. Tune in. KeyShawn Davis. Was Kevin Davis?
Yep.
Davis brothers fighting on the Shakur Stevenson card. You got Israel Adesanya. He's fighting on the main card in UFC. It's all types of goodness going on this weekend, so I'm looking forward to it. But with that said, man, listen, it's been a great night. We appreciate y'all. We'll holler at y'all next week. Week after next. Week after that, it don't matter. We out of here. BETMOOR Sports. Peace.
Till next time. It's your boy, Stephen Trotman Bay, a.k.a. the Guru with BETMOOR Sports. You know I'm pushing parlays 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. But if you have a problem gambling, call 888-532-3500. And always remember to drink responsibly.